All right, welcome to the Boss and the Brewer episode number 46. We're closing in on a full year's worth of episodes, which is pretty awesome. Quite a lot on today. We've got some end of financial year results for Mighty Craft. Behemoth are doing their third crowdfunding, so we'll dig into that. And there's 3 or 4 more stories, which are pretty interesting. And then we've got the normal 12 questions from the audience, from the Facebook group. The boss man is ready to go right now. So I'm going to let him in and see if he's got his light on. We should do a over-under on whether or not he's got his studio set up properly.
Who were you talking to?
Hey, mate. I was doing my intro. Oh, there's your
were
light.
you?
Oh, your light came on like gradually that time.
Well, I can adjust the brightness in the camera.
Oh, no, but what? But
Like
you've got the round light going?
That's just some lights that show on the wall.
Oh, okay. So that's got nothing to do with the brightness of your appearance.
Nah, but the OnlyFans, they love it.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that. We've only got 12 fans.
Only 12 fans.
Speaking of which, I sent our Only Dans. I sent one of our Only Dans today t-shirt.
Wait, which one?
Fuller.
Yeah, okay.
Darren Fuller, whose Facebook account is not Darren Fuller, it's a different Fuller. But
is that right?
We've got a bit of that in our group. People with fake names.
Fake names like Louis G.
Yeah. So shirt's on the way, mate. Sorry it took a week to send.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. What's happening?
What's this on my shirt?
What do you got there?
No, I spilled bleach on my shirt.
Oh.
I was cleaning a. Oh yeah, I do. I've got sponsored beer.
Oh, do you? Wait up. Let's go live. Do you want to go live?
Yeah, go live.
Wait. Yeah.
Kings.
No, I've got. See, I'm getting more organised every week. I've got a copy and paste of the name. Oh, wait. Unable to access. What are you doing? Unable to access your Facebook account. Live on Facebook. You can access it. It's accessible. Here we go. All right. What do you got there, mate?
Well, are we live yet?
Live-ish.
Doesn't look like it.
No, we're not really live, but it's a process.
I want to see the comments. Oh, there we go. Your meeting is being live streamed.
There you go.
Got it.
Happy now?
I am happy.
We got to balance the how boring it is for the people who listen on audio later on and how entertaining it is for people who listen live, and it's tricky. I sort of wonder if it would be better if we didn't go live, but we tend to have a few people come on here, so.
Yeah.
But you get distracted. Like you're distracted right now. I know you just.
I just wrote a comment. I just went, hello.
Hello.
Frank Walker here from National Tiles.
All right.
I've got a beer.
All right. Sponsored beer.
I've got 3 beers from sponsored brewery. I've got the 3 beers from Parched over in West End.
What?
Yeah.
I don't have those.
I've got a bit of a reflection there. Chewie's Misery. Chewie, not Chewie, as in Star Wars Chewbacca, but Chewy, T-E-W-Y. I don't even know what that stands for.
And not Tui's as in Tui's the beer brand.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Do you think they did? Is that a mosquito?
Carl's, so basically,
Go on your bed.
Adam Shell gave these to me, not out of that one, the other one, gave these to me.
Yeah, I saw his comment in the group. He said he sent some down to me as well, which is good. Don't have.
Well, he's just across the river, and I really want the council to build the bloody Green Bridge from my suburb over to West End.
Can you take the scooter on the Green Bridge?
No.
Oh,
you could. There's nothing.
You could if
stopping
it was electric.
I suppose. Yeah, it's like. It'd be. I could walk there if there was a bridge directly across the Brisbane River.
That'd be fun.
But they postponed the project, though, the Green Bridges. There you go. Have a look at that. Look how fucking clean that. Brand new glass as well. Sponsored glass.
What beer you got there?
That's the Chewy's Misery.
No, but what sort of beer is it?
Wet one.
Wow. A lot of value being added here. All right. Good.
Now it says here Australian Pale Ale,
Okay.
4.5%. This is not a standard size glass or a standard size can. I think this is 4.
Is it like the Brewdog glass? Brewdog schooner glass.
Say on the front how many milliliters it is.
It's a 440. I can see it from here, mate.
Actually doesn't say anywhere on it how big the can is.
That's
I know it is a 440.
Against the packaging guidelines, but yeah, it should say 440 on the front.
It does not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 440. It's just tiny fucking writing in my glasses.
Is the M lowercase and the L uppercase?
Both lowercase.
Not doing it right. See if they get in trouble. Probably not for a small batch. Any good?
This is in their core range.
Yeah, any good other than being wet?
It's nice, pretty clean. Nice bit of citrus, bit of herbaceous action happening there. Pretty smashable.
Speaking of smashable, I've got a beer here too, but I can't show you its face on television.
Why not?
Well, it's a pre-release. It's not a sponsored beer.
Isn't it?
No.
Is it dry hopped? Because you're wearing your dry hopping shirt.
I am wearing my dry hopping flannel. I actually don't know. I don't know. You would know. I don't think it's dry hopped. I'm going to pour this off screen. Wait.
Okay, pour it off screen.
Sponsored glass, but not sponsored beer, right?
What glass is that?
That's a Helios glass.
Oh, sweet.
It's survived this long. 2 of them. They're solid. Look at this bad boy, mate.
Oh. Look at that. That's very golden. That is very golden.
Delicious looking.
What does it smell like?
Bit of sort of smokiness to it.
Oh, you into your smoke beers now, are you? What type of smoke?
Just a wheaty sort of smoke.
Yes. What does the wheat bean smoked in? Oak. Say oak.
Oh, it's a smoked with the bit of oak in there, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What sort of beer is 100% like oak smoked wheat malt?
Did I say it was 100%?
100%. You just said it was 100%.
This is such a smashable, this mystery can't show you its face on television beer is.
Only one style of beer that I know.
It's very enjoyable.
Made from 100% oak smoked wheat malt.
I don't know. I can't say, but it's very good. It's very smashable. It's not too smoky, which is good.
That's good. That's
not over the top.
That's good, man. We should probably drink some of that.
Okay.
Together.
I'm keen. Let's do that.
And with maybe the 12 as well.
I'm keen to do that.
Shall we reveal more about that next week?
Next week, yeah. Well, we can say what we're keen to do. We just don't have a date.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So the beer, what was the beer you were drinking?
Well, I can't say that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that mystery beer.
Yeah.
It's taken us 8 months and 50 fucking episodes to do.
46, that's okay.
Is imminently about to be released. So Dan and I were talking earlier this week, and we figured that most of the 12 live in Brisbane. So we may do something in Brisbane in the next couple of weeks. Yes,
that's the plan. And possibly try and do a live podcast. I don't know how much of that we can make work or what equipment we need, but the very least a catch up and a beer.
And a beer. Yes, absolutely. If we record a podcast,
do a live podcast, that'd be fun.
If we don't, what are we going to call the event?
Well, we can't say that because we can't reveal it. Wait, what'd you say?
Field trip.
Okay, good. Yeah, we can do that. That's good. All right. So before we get into the news, do you want to fill us in on the latest Flano poll? Because I saw you posted in the group another Flano.
So we're down to, on the Flano poll,
I'm going to put this in our
we've-
summary document as
Yeah,
we're talking.
yeah, that'd be great because I've got no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Well, I've been saving.
We have sorted out lots of stuff with the Flano poll. So we've done. I've just got to sort the group because you can't just go straight to polls. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I haven't seen your scooter update. Wow. Okay, you'll have to.
I posted that this afternoon.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've got the Pennywise. It was neck and neck.
Yep.
The Pennywise, which is the blue and black one. That was going to be just broadly put under packaging. Because kegging and canning were just neck and neck, and just went, so people obviously view that as a packaging flano, which is great. And then we did the Freddy, which is kind of like the Freddy Krueger flano, like Freddy Krueger wears, which is kind of like a dark green, a yellow, red, and a black kind of thing.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that counts.
That counts. It was a pretty clear win too.
It was a very clear win. Word production coming in second. So we've only got 3 options left. We've got milling, wort production, and centrifuge, which we should probably just break down into wort production and cellar. Because milling and wort production are kind of the same thing. So we're down to the last 2, basically.
Well, what do we need to have a poll on what colors we choose for the poll? Who chooses what colors we choose for the poll?
Me.
Well, I think we should have a poll on that.
A poll on the poll.
Yeah.
To get people to throw in a poll on what shirts they would like to see in the final poll.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then in the final poll, first place gets whatever it is first, and then whatever shirt is second gets the other one.
Well, I don't know about that, because then people aren't voting for, because I like in this accounts one, there was some relevance there with like the red and the black, and it kind of made sense for accounts in a way. Whereas if you had a first and second, you wouldn't know which one's going to be first or second. But if we do a poll for which shirts we include as the final 2.
Yep.
And then out of those, the 2 top ones out of that, we do 2 more polls. One for word production, one for seller.
Okay.
And then we're done.
And do we let the 12 put in the shirts they would like to see? Like they add their own poll options?
Oh yeah, is that an option? Yeah, but I think by the time you do it, no one's going to vote for the ones, right? Or how do these normally work?
Well, I basically make the poll so that no one can add their own options, and you just have what's there.
I mean, sure, give people the option, but
okay. Well, we'll do that for the throw a shirt in the ring color that you would like to see.
Yeah.
And then we'll take maybe the top 4 that have voted, and they'll be the final colors to go to the final 2 votes. How's that sound?
Let me look at this Pennywise. The Pennywise one wasn't straight blue and black, was it?
Yeah, it's pretty much straight up blue and black.
Okay. Let me have a look at this again. Oh yeah, sweet. Okay. All right. Brilliant. And then should we do? Oh well, these things are fucking expensive. I was going to say we could like buy one of each. And
how much are they? How much is it for a Dixon flannel?
They're so expensive. We can't afford to do this unless you get that sponsor locked in.
How much are we talking here?
They're not cheap. They're like $150 or something stupid
for a flannel.
They're very good flanos, mate. Maybe $80. I don't know. They're not cheap.
God.
On that topic, Paul in the live chat said he's got some merch ideas for us.
Well, I hope cheap flanos is on his fucking list of ideas.
Yeah, cheaper flano, but we're using the Dixon colors in the thing, so we kind of have to use their flanos.
Oh, have they copyrighted the colors of? It's a flano.
Well, I don't know. They're pretty fancy. That last one you posted had a fair bit going on.
Yeah, right.
Right, I put that in our little Google Doc. So we've got 4 that are locked in ready, and it's going to be 6 total.
Beauty.
All right, so on to the news.
Yeah.
Mighty Craft, which we talked about already, because they had the, like you said in the message to me, they had the end of quarter results, which we already talked about.
Yes.
But these are the full financial year results, which is the same period. But at the end of the financial year, they put out obviously a press release that highlights certain things, their full financials. They do a really good job with the presentations they do. They have an investor page. They've released 5 or 6 different documents with a whole bunch of different information in there. And if you go to bossandthebrewer.com, you'll see our show notes every week with everything we talk about, and I'll include a link to those. I've got a summary of the things.
What are the key takeaways?
Yeah, so $63 million in revenue, which is obviously quite a bit. $6.3 million loss, which was what they put in the press release.
Fuck.
But it was adjusted for a whole bunch of things, and the actual loss that wasn't adjusted was $12 million. So if you look in there,
what's the opposite of EBITDA?
Oh, it's EBITDA in brackets.
EBITDA. Losses before interest and tax and appreciation.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not that surprising that they're at a loss-making stage, but they definitely seem to highlight a $6 million loss when the actual loss was $12 million for a lot of different reasons.
It's 20%.
20%, yeah. But the thing that I found, there's a couple of things I pulled out that I found was interesting. FY22, Torquay Beverage Company produced better beer, which delivered $19 million in sales and sold 4.3 million litres since its launch in October 2021. That's fucking mind-blowing.
That's 30% of their sales.
Yeah. But it's not, but that growth like that.
One SKU.
I think 4.3 million is, well, I don't actually know all the inside information because I don't work at Bolter, but I remember when Bolter sold, after they'd been around for 4 years and were the fastest growing brand the industry had ever seen, I think they were doing 4.3 million litres. Does that sound about right to you? It sounded about right to me when I heard it.
Yeah.
So these guys are doing 4.3 million litres after 6 months, basically. That's fucking staggering.
So they're basically selling their beer for $4.40 a litre.
Oh, that's what you were working out there?
I just did it with my calculator. So I can do calculator.
Nice.
No flano required.
Well, you need the accounts one.
Fuck. You're absolutely right.
Pennywise. No, the Kruger.
I need the Kruger. I need the Kruger. I need the Kruger, and then I need to go like make the sound. Just go. Kruger.
Right. Well, I'll go through the rest.
That's interesting. That's actually not bad revenue per litre, $4 a litre. What do you reckon?
I hadn't thought about it per litre. I just looked at the volume.
Don't you get that number when you're doing your accounts?
No, but I mean we've hundreds of different products, so no. I was just more blown away by the volume. That's just incredible.
Yeah, 4.3 million in their first year. Fuck me.
The first 7 months. That's insane.
Mind blowing.
So the next thing I pulled out, which I found quite interesting. As mentioned, we have engaged Moelis Australian. Is that a typo? I don't know. It's obviously some sort of consultancy to facilitate a review of the company's strategic options. We have 2 emerging segments in the business, and both these businesses require different levels of investment over different timeframes. We are firmly of the view that the current market capitalization doesn't reflect the intrinsic value of the brands and believe the time is right to commission the strategic review. So this is not from the press release. This is all from the actual report they put out. That's super interesting because they've got Better Beer, which they only own, 40% of? What do they own 60% of it? 40%? I don't know. Anyway.
Somewhat, yeah.
Well, they own a percentage of Torquay and Torquay owns a percentage of Better Beer. But then they've got all the beer brands and then they've got the whiskey stuff. And I guess that piece of text there is saying they don't know. They don't know what to focus on.
Yeah, well, they've got beer and they've got spirits.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And they've got Better Beer, which is a unicorn brand. And they've got a whole bunch of brands that are not, sort of underperforming.
Did they get lucky with Better beer? I don't know.
Oh, Lux.
Would
Lux
better
always-
beer
always
have
the same.
done? Would better beer have done well? On its own, had Mighty Craft not been around.
Well, I know the guy who looks after beer at Dan Murphy's knows the Mighty Craft guys very well, and they've got a good relationship with him, and they catch up pretty regularly, and they were talking to him a lot leading up to getting that distribution. So I think being available in every Dan Murphy's around the country probably was a pretty important thing, and whether or not they could have got that without better beer, I'd say probably not. Certainly not an exclusive, because if it took off on its own right, that that would be selling it to anyone.
Yeah, I'd say they certainly needed that sales and distribution leverage to get into the majors.
Yeah. So I've also got a link in there to the presentation they put out. People can look at that if you're keen.
How'd you know Black Ops did that back in the day? First 9 months, 4.3 million litres.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we definitely couldn't have.
That would have broken you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess to their credit, they're contract brewing it all, so that they can kind of scale it up.
Yeah, but no economies of scale though.
Well, that's the funny thing is that they've kind of bought a lot of breweries, but now they can't use any of those breweries to actually make the product that they've got that took off.
Yeah,
which is super interesting. I can't think of anyone else who's sort of had this kind of home run. It seems they've got a massive home run with this, and everything else is struggling.
It's a rare feat.
Yeah, this is something else I thought was interesting. So the Adelaide Hills business that they bought for $47 million, not that long ago, only a year ago. Revenue $18 million. So that's all from Adelaide Hills. So if their revenue is 63 million, Better Beer's 20 million, Adelaide Hills is 20 million. That's only 20 million for every single other thing in their portfolio. So 2/3 of their revenue is the Adelaide Hills component, and I guess the Better Beer. If all that is counted to Mighty Craft.
How they count the revenue for someone like Ballistic where they only owe 10%?
I would love to know. And I don't how do you count the revenue for Better Beer also, because they don't own all of that either. So I don't know how that works. But profit for Adelaide Hills 3.4 million.
Well, I found their strategic priorities. It's in the PDF.
Yep.
You linked. So their progress against strategic priorities: build Better Beer into a top 10 beer brand, dominate local markets with Jetty Road, Mismatch, and Ballistic, drive improvement in gross margins, innovate and reposition Hills Cider as the #1 locally owned better for you cider brand.
They're struggling with that one. So they actually do a good job in their report to say kind of green light, yellow light, red light on what they're doing well, what they're not doing well. They refer to cider as a declining category.
But cider has always been, for like ever, up and down and up and down and up and down. Always.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
Not just here in Australia, but in the UK, and it comes and goes. I don't know why that is the case. Very strange.
So the Adelaide Hills revenue, the profit was 3.4 million. When they acquired Adelaide Hills, the forecast was 6 million. I went back and had a look at the press release that they brought out only a year ago. So they paid $47 million for this thing, hoping it would add earnings to the business. It's only added 3.4 million, and that's nowhere near enough to get them out of loss-making territory. And Mighty Craft's entire market cap is $49 million. This is the thing that to me is kind of scary. And like they mentioned that there, they say their current market capitalization doesn't reflect the value of their brands. They paid 47 million just for Adelaide Hills. Their entire business is only worth 49 million a year later. So something's not.
They don't make any money. They lose money.
Yeah, I think the ASX, I think, only cares about making money. I think that's the lesson, right?
Of course. Yeah. Well, if you were an investing man, and this is not financial advice, would you put some money on Mighty Craft in, say, the next the first full financial year of Better Beer? Does it grow volume? Does it grow volume enough to put Mighty Craft as a group into the black, and do the other things to build their margin? And maybe make a bit less of a loss, or maybe even, God forbid, a profit in this financial year.
Yeah. Well, the market says no. I mean, you have a look at their share price. That a year ago it was 37 cents. It's now 15 cents. Which means
because they have no cash. They have no cash and they don't make a profit.
Yeah.
And you know that they're going to have to do another capital raise.
Well, they just did one. They just raised $20 million not long ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, super interesting. What would you do if you're a Mighty Craft? What would you do?
If I was Mighty Craft, or if I was considering investing in Mighty? Oh, look, I would. Obviously, they're onto something with better beer.
Hang on, stop it.
And hump away.
The dog's losing his shit.
On your floor.
Fucking dog. He just decides he hears noises and then. What are you doing, dude? All right, you're the boss of Mighty Craft.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Look, I would. I think the idea of growing into New Zealand is a strategically good idea. Not necessarily partnering with Dominion breweries to produce the product. Maybe for distribution. I suppose it's probably cheaper for DB to produce the product. Whether better beer is going to be a hit in New Zealand, who knows? Different culturally, that sort of thing.
Oh, I reckon it's a pretty safe bet.
You reckon?
I think so. I think they're onto a fucking winner with better beer.
I'm with Elon on this one.
You don't think it'll do well in New Zealand?
I think it'll be muted.
Okay. I'm more interested in what you would do with the rest of the business. It's a no-brainer to keep better beer going and expanding. What do you do with the rest of it? You've just got all these investors investing in whiskey. You've got what?
I don't know.
10 different craft beer brands.
It seems to change every year for Mighty Craft, right? The two years prior, actually pre-COVID, it was all about venues and vertical integration and all that sort of stuff. Then COVID hit, and yeah, of course, things change, but we're coming out of COVID now, and beer sales are fucking, alcohol sales in Australia are through the roof at the moment. And that probably would have been a good idea to expand whilst the market was depressed, because it was going to come back in the venue thing. But that seems to not even get a mention here anymore.
No, they seem to want to get rid of the venues. But if you look at Gauge Roads, they're crushing it with their venue strategy.
Yeah.
Like that's where they make all their money.
Well, Mighty Craft have almost completely forgotten about it. It's not even in here.
Well, they mentioned divesting non-core assets. So I assume that's the hospo side. And
it's I just think it's missing. It's missing that what they had a few years ago, and now all of a sudden they decide that they want to go and conduct a strategic review and that sort of thing. They just seem a little lost.
Yeah. What do you think the review's going to say?
I don't know. Of the 4 strategic things that they want to achieve, whatever's it probably sell the side. Since it's the one that's the red light.
No, Adelaide Hills is profitable.
You pay a consultant just to fucking tell you what you want to hear,
To say you're paying a consultant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
they already know what they're going to do. They just need to conduct a strategic review so they can say to the shareholders that we got some outside advice on it, and we didn't just make it up on our own.
Do you think it would make sense to just have Better Beer as its own entity, divide the two up, and then have an entity that just has these other things that they sell off to whoever wants to buy them? Literally sell everything else.
No, there's a need to have a conglomerate of all the different businesses and that sort of thing. good drinks, fermentum.
Yeah, but how much of good drinks in fermentum, like definitely fermentum, most of their money was from pack out. Like how much of their money was from pack out?
There's always one cash cow.
All of
It's
Well,
one,
why
there's
is
one
it,
cash
why
cow.
is it needed? Why is it needed to be a conglomerate of brands?
Just so you can diversify and have different revenue streams and mitigate your risk and create, high, pack ale and better beer would be low margin, high volume product, which is great. It's a cash cow. It just makes cash, right? Whereas
what
you got to
value
have
what value do the other brands bring?
low volume, high margin.
Yeah, but see, I don't. If you looked at Stone and Wood's P&L, do you think it would show a whole bunch of products making way more money than pack ale? Probably not. I'd say they're probably losing money on almost everything else.
No, but you get your momentum out of your core beer.
I think having the grouping of brands is almost like a signal to the ASX of that you are a massive company.
Yes.
Like the brands that are going really well for Gauge are their core brands, aren't they? For good drinks. Like the brew pub is a Gauge Roads brew pub. That's where they're making all the money.
And
their
the
biggest
venue.
selling beer is the Stadium beer, the single fin, and like all their biggest selling beer are all Gauge Roads beers.
I'm printing.
What are you printing? You're printing the Better Beer, the Mighty Craft.
Printing the Mighty Craft PDF.
Well, it's a good read.
Yeah, it was interesting. Good on them. Underlying profitability trend.
Here we go. Stephen Keegle, $80 for the Freddie flannel.
Fuck.
Paul, tell us your merch ideas in the live chat so we can talk about them.
This is interesting. The underlying profitability trend. Q1, venues and premises on Q1 FY22, venues and on-premise performance poor, COVID lockdowns. Q2, venues improving, peak period, better beer launch, excise remission. Q3, venues and on-premise poor, better beer strong. Q4, venues poor.
Yeah, it's been tough for hospital. I don't think they're unique in that, but I guess you either think it's going to bounce back or you don't.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're looking to do 14. So they've done 8 million in FY22, and they're looking to do 14 million in FY23.
Who's this?
That's Mighty Craft.
8 million what? Liters.
Liters, yeah.
Yeah. That's including Better Beer?
Yeah.
See, again, how do you count that if you only own a certain chunk of that?
I don't know.
SKU, but yeah. All right. Topic number 2. This might be a first. This third might be a first because this is Behemoth NZ crowdfunding is the third effort in equity crowdfunding, which might be the first because I don't think any company has done it 3 times that I can think of.
I don't understand.
Well, this is their third time they're going out for equity crowdfunding. Yeah.
What are they raising money for now?
Well, it doesn't say. So this is on the Snowball Effect website. They have a little bit of information on there.
Is that like the Kiwi Virtual?
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, they got Pledge Me, I think, is the one that Eastie Boys did it on. There's a few different ones they have over there.
Yeah.
So they're raising money now. I put in my email address today. It said there's 370 people had registered interest, and it actually tells you on here, which is cool. Now it says 475, so that there's more people entering their email on there.
How much are they raising?
$3 million goal. And there's a few interesting things that I pulled out of it because I look at these before we record, Hendo. I don't look at it while we're recording. But
you're
also,
saying I don't prepare.
A little bit of that. Actually, I should have put the other links into the other crowdfunding campaigns because I save their old documents because when I come out, I save them so I can look back at them. So they're doing $11 million revenue, right? They raised last year and they raised in 2019. 2019, they raised 1.8 million. from 627 investors, and that's on the Pledge Me site, and you can still access that link. And then they raised in 2021, which I don't have a link to that one, but I think it's on the same site. I think it's on that Snowball Effect website.
Why has the revenue not gone up, nor is the profit?
So in 2021, and this is the difference between Australian and New Zealand crowdfunding, is in Australia, if you talk to the crowdfunding guys, they will tell you, don't be really careful with what projections you put in there, because if it's not based on, legitimate kind of accuracy, then you could be screwed later on if you don't hit those numbers. Right. So crowdfunding campaigns in Australia tend not to have projections. Like you would have a plan, you would say, like, these are the things I want to do, but you don't have, this is the revenue number we think we're going to hit. In New Zealand, it's different. So in 2019, they predicted their 2022 revenue, which we know now is 11 million because it's written on this page.
Oh, and in 2019, they predicted 12.5 million in 2022.
Correct.
And in 2021,
they
did
projected 2.25 million profit.
Oh, so it's not they're not growing. Are they broadly meeting what they're predicting?
Well, revenue-wise, they are. So this is the interesting thing. Projected in 2021, they projected 13.5 million for this financial year, and it ends up being 11, which is quite a lot less. And this was after COVID, so there shouldn't have been kind of that many surprises. But the profit is the big one. So they were projecting $2.6 million in profit. And they were projecting by 2024, they would be paying dividends of 5%. So when this offer document comes out, it's going to be very interesting to look at it and see what their actual profit is, because if they had $2.6 million in profit for the financial year, they probably wouldn't be raising money, is my guess.
Well, on $11 million worth of revenue, that's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that my guess is they weren't profitable at all, and they were aiming for 2.6 million and they weren't profitable at all. But that's just a guess. I have no idea. I don't know anything about the business. But it'll be
that's a massive profit.
Yeah. Well, it's potentially unrealistic. What's
23%
it'd be 20%
profit.
Yeah. Well, they were projecting 13.4, so it would have been 20% profit. So there's zero chance they would have hit that.
There's no way you're going to hit that, because that's just not normal for the beer business. And if it was, I'd be fucking investing straight away or starting a business that could do the same.
So here's our prediction, over or under. Okay, that my prediction is 0, break even, and you have to say
for profit.
Profit, yes. Most recent financials profit when they bring out their offer document and show their numbers. What do you reckon? Over 0 or under 0?
Under 0.
So you think worse than, you think they're losing money as opposed to making 2.6 as projected?
Of course. Why are they raising money?
I think the same. Fair. Well, since I think the same, maybe I should set the number then. How about we set the actual number? So I'll set it as $400,000 loss.
Yeah, I was going to say not much, maybe a couple of 100,000.
Okay.
Just treading water sort of thing.
Well, you have to say over or under. So it's over 400 or under 400?
Better
or worse than?
I'd say they'd be doing marginally better, maybe a couple 100,000.
Okay. All right.
But it's negligible, on $11 million of revenue.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're making a profit.
All right. So what do we win if we win? I want to win something.
I want if I'm going to pick numbers that I don't know much about and that sort of thing, well, I want a Freddy Krueger fucking flannel, don't I?
That's fair. Okay, I'm not going to buy that.
If I can demonstrate that I have the power and the ability to do accounts, I want an accounts flannel.
Well, can we do like a best of 10 or something? Because I'm not going to spend $80 every time we do one of these things.
We've never done it once, so let's just do it once. And then if we do it once, then it starts costing you money. Then you can buy a Freddy flannel.
No. Let's have a leaderboard of 10. It's the first to 10. Okay.
Right.
So this is the first time we're doing it. If you get to 10, you win, and the other person buys you the prize.
Okay.
So the prize is a Freddy Krueger flannel.
Right.
But this current over under is just 1 point.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to win that Freddy flannel.
I'm going to win it.
Says you.
All right. Anything else to add on that one?
Nah.
Okay, all right. Right. Forex Brewery in Milton, which is not too far. Wait,
From me.
you could
In my
do.
house.
Oh, you wouldn't have to cross the river, do you? You would just have to walk down
Nah.
Coronation Drive and
Just get the
you'd be there.
bus.
Get the bus.
Bus.
Or the ferry.
There's no ferries don't stop at Milton at the moment since the floods.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh, there you go. So the Forex Brewery is being upgraded to make seltzer.
How much did they spend on these upgrades?
5 million, it says. It's not a lot, is it?
That's fuck all.
It's fuck all. It's just like a beer garden.
You spent that on a packaging line, more or less.
Almost.
So for a bigger brewery like that, that's a drop in the bucket.
That's true.
What are they doing for $5 million to make seltzer?
Getting a new labeler?
I mean, what do they need to do? No, seriously, what do they need to do?
They
What's
need
seltzer?
thin
Is
cans.
seltzer, is this for RTDs?
They need thin cans. They're getting a new canning line.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. But all right, so they retool a bit for slim cans. Cool. What they can make the liquid.
Yeah.
Like even if they ferment it, they get truckloads of sugar syrup for Forex. They can just pump sugar syrup in a tank and ferment it. But if they're going to do RTD with spirits, maybe they can't do that. That might be where the upgrade is.
Yeah, it'll be. Oh, here we go. Bulk seltzer's RTD beverages requires bulk ethanol storage. Oh, so they're just
There
like
you go.
getting storage to keep like grape spirit or something.
Oh, just ethanol,
Yeah.
manildra. But that's really expensive because if you're going to store bulk ethanol, you've got to have all of the bunding and you've got to have all the fire suppression and all that sort of stuff. You can't just go, hey, I'm going to stick a fucking bulk tank of ethanol over there in the corner.
Hmm. Well, it's kind of cool they're still using that brewery. It'd be better if they were just making beer there. They should make Stone and Wood there.
I don't know if they know how to dry hop there.
Well, we could show them. I got this.
They certainly don't have the right colour flannel there.
I went on a tour there. At
Have you
school. I could show them.
Have you been to the Forex brewery? I've done the secret, not available to the public tour of that brewery.
Oh, that sounds fun.
with John Meehan, who's my teaching partner at TAFE. It was sick. It was so not as good as Yatla, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
it
went.
was
I
better.
went when I was at school.
Yeah, you did the public one.
Yeah, the multi-strand sign. Is that how you pour a beer? Why are you pouring out of the side of the can?
So it doesn't go blop, 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 blop.
Really?
That's why they're shaped that way.
I did not know that.
They're shaped that way because if you pour it straight that way, it goes blop, 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 blop. But if you pour it on its side, the air can go in easily.
Are you shitting me?
The more you know.
I did not know that.
The more you know.
That is, fuck me. How many cans of beer have I poured over? That's why this podcast is so valuable to so many people.
Oh,
mate. We're
look at that.
educating.
Angus Grant is drinking a Hollandia. Good on
Don't
him.
do that,
Good on him.
mate.
Don't
support
laugh at
local.
him.
Not good on him. I'm going to laugh at him.
I did
I'm
a
gonna
care
anger.
emoji.
I'm going to anger emoji him.
What else we got here? Phil Sharp wants a dry hop flano.
Need a red flanny. Well,
Oh shit, he called it a flanny.
Oh, flanny. Yeah.
Flanny
Well,
or flano?
No, there's no flanny. That's ridiculous.
You can't call it a flanner.
No.
I've got a
Brendan
beer.
Oh, there you
I've
go.
got a new
Okay, yes,
beer.
go. Talk about your beer. I got
Here is
distracted.
the
See,
beer.
this is the problem with the live chat is you get distracted, and anyone who listens to this afterwards is going to be
This
like,
is
"What
called
the fuck are you guys doing?"
Beer Masu, done by Matty Wolf, who's one of the 12.
Show us it.
And
Show us the beer.
there you go. Oh, not the can. There you go. There's the beer
Oh yeah.
in the parched glass. Beer Masu. Oh shit, just smells like coffee.
Nice.
Oh damn.
For the audio listeners, Hendo's just gone into beer heaven
Oh,
for a
that's
minute there.
really
Be
good.
back. You like that?
Really good.
What are you getting there? Just coffee and chocolate?
Coffee. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet.
Lee from White Lies would probably like that one.
It's like it's very much espresso martini. It's given me a bit of a milk and two sugars, bit of a vibe actually.
Ooh, there you go. That's high praise. Could be a Gabs winner.
The OG pastry stout.
Yeah,
doing pastry stouts 6 years before pastry stouts were pastry stouts.
There you go, mate. You were well ahead of your time.
That's right.
So
was Bandwagon, to be fair.
Yeah, we were not really. We were getting on the train afterwards. That was the whole point.
No, but Bandwagon was a pastry stout 5 years before pastry stouts were pastry stouts.
Yeah, but we were copying. I guess we were copying the dessert beer thing for a bit of fun. Shout out to Jason. Is Jason one of the 12? His birthday during the week. I think he's one of the 12. He's a past podcast guest.
2.1 standos.
Good going.
Good beer. Anyway, what do you got there?
Coles Liquor focuses on local as sales grow. So there's a Brews News article that Coles are obviously making shitloads of money.
Well, I saw on ABC, Alan Kohler, he gets on the finance news on ABC TV every night and that sort of thing. I like watching him because he always comes up with these nice little charts at the end of his 2-minute report. And last night's chart showed alcohol sales over the last couple of years. And we are higher than lockdown in 2020. It's fucking mad. Apparently we're spending a lot of money on alcohol at the moment. Where? I don't know. Probably
I don't know
beer,
either.
No doubt.
Better beer. Better beer, seltzer. I don't know.
Seltzer? So what did they say here? EBIT reached 1.9 billion. Fuck.
Making a lot of money. But the article was basically saying they are making more of an effort with local, which, sort of Endeavour were doing 2 years ago.
Yeah, so they should.
Yeah, and it was saying that Endeavour aren't doing that so much and they're focusing more on their own brands. And it had some stats there towards the end. ELB, which I think is Coles' own brands, introduced 170 new products in contrast to Endeavour Group's Pinnacle Drinks launching 479 products in the same period.
Wow.
So, yeah, interesting. So Endeavour, I guess, are going all in on their own products. Coles are to some extent, but they're also getting local products in as more of a focus, which is probably my experience from what I've seen with the ranging that we've picked up. Coles are, making a pretty strong effort with craft at the moment.
Yeah.
But
you got much beer going to Coles?
Yeah, but yeah. We're about to
the
have
Liquorland over at the Regatta that closed at the floods and then it never reopened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Liquorland's
I heard they were going to turn it into a beer garden. Just bulldoze it and turn it into a beer garden. That'd be sick.
That would be good. Yeah, Liquorland's been good. They're rebranding their stores, different format. We've got a whole bunch new ranging through them coming through.
Vintage Cellars.
That'd be good. Yeah, Vintage Cellars in Queensland are pretty good. And then First Choice have been selling a fair bit of beer for us as well. We
love our big box alcohol stores, don't we?
Yeah.
It's like an adventure when you go to Dan Murphy's or Liquorland or something like that. If I walk into a Dan Murphy's or a Liquorland, any of those big box liquor stores, it's like that meme where like the hairs stand up on the back of your neck. I don't have any hair on the back of my neck, but the one where the hairs stand up on the back of your neck and you go, ooh.
Oh, you like that? All right. Fair enough.
And it's a sense of excitement because you're on an adventure and you don't know what you're going to walk out with.
There's a lot in there. The craft gin selection in these bottle shops
it's
now is
amazing.
Unreal.
I mean, normally I just walk out with fucking Hollandia and Jack Daniels, but it's just such an adventure. Just the anticipation when you walk in is amazing.
Yep.
You have your hopes so high.
Coles are pretty good with exclusives too. So we've done their they got this 10-pack thing now. So we've got like an exclusive 10-pack that we do just for Coles, and a bunch of other brews do exclusive 10-packs just for Coles.
Yeah.
And then they've got their own branded range of beers that they do collabs with breweries for.
What
as
beer
well.
goes into a
Done a fair
10-pack?
East Coast Haze.
How much is the retail price for that?
I think it's like 47 or something like that. 45.
Hmm.
It works out. It doesn't necessarily work out cheaper, but it's a convenient size.
Do
people.
you put them on the pallet in 10 packs?
Yeah. But they're all manually packed.
So your machine doesn't do the 10 packs?
No. Ben Spoke one does. I think they've reconfigured their packet to do 10 packs, which is whole nother exercise to do.
Yeah.
But ours doesn't. But the way we set up our canning line, we've got a big overflow area where we can grab them off and pack them manually without it affecting the rest of the line.
Okay.
So that's useful, but it is manual.
But very labor intensive though.
Yep. Very labor intensive. But that's interesting. It's
I
interesting
haven't been down
they do that
in a while. So
yeah, it's interesting that Coles wanted to do that because they're looking for things to do that Endeavour aren't doing, which is probably a good sign.
Innovate or die.
Yep. And they're catching up, to be honest.
Yes.
Endeavour did a pretty good job with craft beer over the last 4 or 5 years, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
All right, two more topics. Eagle Bay beer recalled by Woolies. I don't actually know how I came across this. I think someone actually sent this to us, didn't they? Maybe sent it to me.
Might have been Dave Levin.
Okay.
Because he's from WA.
All right. So this brewery, I went there and it's fucking awesome. Have you been there?
Yeah. No, I have not. I know where it is though.
It's unbelievable.
I think this is great.
Can I ask you? I've got a question for you on this one, actually.
Yeah. You have to say question, colon.
Question, colon. Food Standards Australia issued, sorry, this is a quote from the article from perthnow.com.au.
Yep.
Food Standards Australia issued a warning that the beers contain excess alcohol and carbonation and may cause illness, injury if consumed.
Yep.
Is that most likely bullshit, or that
sentence
real. Doesn't make sense to me? Does it make sense to you?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, if you can't, if you're going to recall a product, right? There's two ways. There's two types of, if you want to take beer off the market, you have two choices. You can do a pullback or a withdrawal, or you can do a recall, right? Now, a pullback is where, so a pullback is basically, that beer's oxidized, the DO meter wasn't working that day. We don't want to sell it. We're going to withdraw it from the market, right? That's a pullback or withdrawal. But when there's a risk to public health and safety, that's a recall.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you've got beer that is becoming overcarbonated in the can, that means that the cans might explode and somebody might get injured as a result of that.
Right. But that's not what the sentence says. That's why
it says illness or injury.
If consumed.
Yeah. If you pick up a can,
you're going to pick it up anyway. You're going to pick it up anyway, whether you
okay. But if you pick up a can and try and maybe open one that's at within an inch of exploding, you are at risk of illness, not necessarily illness, but injury.
It doesn't say you, but it does. The sentence doesn't say you're at risk of illness if you open it. It's saying you're at risk of illness if you consume it.
Yeah, well, you got to open the bloody thing if you want to go through the process of consuming it.
You've also got to open it if you're going to dump it. Like my point is, it's misleading to say that your risk of illness of consuming this beverage, is it not? If it's
illness,
just a little bit...
illness is a word that shouldn't be in there. Injury, most definitely.
Right, but there's nothing about this liquid
unless
that's
you
drink
make you sick.
30
of them in a sitting and then you throw up and then you're
right. But there's either that sentence is misleading or there's more to this than just overcarbonation.
I don't think you should read into it. That's not the right thing to do.
I didn't say it wasn't the right thing to do. When did I say that?
No, you shouldn't read into it.
Oh, you don't think I should read into it?
No, reading into it's not the right thing to do.
Okay.
If you do that sort of thing, then you're basically calling the whole of for sands and that sort of thing into disrepute.
I'm not. I'm reading the sentence, and I'm saying the sentence doesn't make sense. It's not going to.
No, because they have to
make you ill.
It's a form.
the beer.
It's a standard form, right? it's the same form that gets filled out for beer as it is for yogurt, right? If it happens to be yogurt or like fucking chicken stock or something and there's salmonella in it, right? That can cause illness/injury, or illness but not injury. Right. So they just use the illness/injury as a catch-all.
So if you bought one of these beers and they're overcarbonated and you read this, what would you return it? Would you return them to Woolies, or would you crack it and figure out?
Most people would crack it and drink it. I probably wouldn't. I just wouldn't taste that great anyway for me. So I probably would have just drain poured it and that sort of thing. But the thing is, right, is I have to say that this is actually a good thing for Eagle Bay, right? It shows that they're doing a successful product recall.
Yeah.
Right. And it shows that they're like, if we're in fucking Queensland, I don't even know if you can't buy Eagle Bay beer in Queensland.
Hey, this is the other thing I felt confusing about this article.
Right.
Is, and I'm not being a hater. I'm honestly just asking legit questions. The title of the article is Woolworths and Coles recall Eagle Bay Brewing Company beer.
Yes.
So, and the first line is Woolworths and Coles have issued an urgent recall for a popular beer over concerns it could be harmful if consumed.
Yes.
Is that unusual to you that this is being issued by Woolies and Coles and not by Eagle Bay?
No. No, they're the retailer. So,
well, but surely they're not the only retailer. Like, they sell this beer everywhere, right?
I don't know. Maybe the XPA is only sold in Woolies and Coles. I don't know that. But the thing is that if you put Woolies and Coles, say they're recalling the product, people will sit up and take notice and listen. But if they say Eagle Bay are recalling it, people are going to go, "Who the fuck's Eagle Bay?"
Here we go. It's on the Eagle Bay website. XPA can recall best before date 19/4/23. Unfortunately, we've had to recall a batch of XPA released in April. Best before date of April. Wait, what the? This makes no sense. How old is this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's best before date.
Oh, that's a typo. I got it on Facebook.
The first sentence says, with the best before date of 19th of the 4th, 2022. That's 4 months ago. This is on their website. First sentence is
it
wrong.
Says the impact. It says in the Perth Now thing, it says the impacted product has a best before marking of April 19, 2023.
Yeah, but their website says 2022.
For Sands says 19th of April. Yeah, the 19th of April 2023.
Yeah, but they say 2022. How many times do I have to say it, Hendo?
Oh, well, they fucked up. They're probably stressed. Leave them alone.
I'm not. Sorry.
Leave Eagle Bay alone.
I'm just reading the blurb. Jesus, I'm just reading it.
Oh my God. You got to go straight to the source, right?
I'm on the Eagle Bay website, mate.
The source is Food Standards Australia, mate.
Okay.
Right. In there, whenever there's a recall, the source becomes for Sands, mate.
All right.
Right. Of course, Eagle Bay are going to post a thing on their fucking socials and that sort of thing. But the with more reach is for Sands.
They say it twice on there. 19/4/22.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Only sold in WA by the look of it. Like, I think it's a good thing. They I don't know if they have a recall plan. You've got a recall plan.
Yep.
Right. How many times have you had to enact your recall plan?
Well, we've enacted it once.
Just once.
Ours was a little bit easier than this, though. I think. I mean, it was very public, but it was easier in the sense that we knew where all the beer had gone.
Yours is a very, very good lesson in how to do a recall, right? Because remember we did the mock recall,
yeah,
and then like literally it was like I think we did that in April or something like that. I can't remember what year it is. And then
2019, I think.
Late October, it was late October or November or something like that, or late November or something, when the extra eggnog started to re-ferment and explode, right? And you ring me up,
I did,
right? And said, "Fuck, Hendo, what do I do? What do I do?" And I said, "Dude, we've done a fucking mock recall. You got a recall plan, go do it. I'll help you, but you know what to do. Go do it. And you did it.
Yeah.
You did a great job at it.
It was funny too, because in that beer cartel calendar, there was at least 3 beers that were re-fermenting.
Yeah.
At least from what I saw from
But only one on December 25th.
Yeah, doesn't help that it was the Christmas Day beer. That
Merry Christmas. Nice. Sploosh.
Yeah, I've got a beer.
But the thing is, right, is that like it's a good thing. If you hear a company getting access to the mainstream media and getting their product out there and their message out there with regards to the recall, that's a good thing. That shows them that that brewery gives a shit and they care and they're not trying to sweep it under the rug. So that brewery cares about their quality, they care about their consumers, and they care about transparency in their product, right? And it's a tough thing to do. What was the first thing you wanted to do when your recall happened? You rang me up.
Drink them all.
No. What did you personally want to do?
Probably recall.
Tell anyone.
I can't remember.
It's a natural. It's a natural reaction.
I'm guessing, but
to sort of just sweep it under the carpet.
This one, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it because you probably are going to tell me I am. But the fact that the news is that Woolies and Coles issued the recall, I would say they probably had no choice.
That's clickbait, mate. It's clickbait. Okay. They were because the thing is, right, if you go to the Fasan's website, right, it basically the whole thing, product information, half of the product information are Woolies and Coles outlets, right? And so there they are. That's the only place where this product is sold.
No, that's not true.
Well, probably the majority of the sales are through Woolies and Coles.
You can buy it on their website. It's not.
Yeah, but not many people buy it on their website.
It's all right. It's fine.
Right.
My point is that this happens pretty often, and it often is swept under the rug. If you sell a beer to Woolies that re-ferments, you can't sweep it under the rug. But this happens.
You can't sweep it under the rug. No. If you got it, like my advice to anyone who has a brewery who finds themselves in a situation where they have product which puts the public at risk of their health and or illness, right? And illness and injury. My 3-word advice to you is own your shit.
And is that recall advice? That
is recall advice. Own your shit. Right? Because if you do, and that's what you did, man, you owned your shit. You got out there, you're transparent, you put out media releases and said, yep, we fucked up. If you've got the beer, pour it down the drain or bring it back or get in touch with Beer Cartel and we'll refund you. But you actually made something positive out of it because you didn't just refund consumers, you turned it into it was some sort of fire relief or something from the big bushfires or something. Yeah. And you turn it into a charitable thing so people could either get a refund or donate the money to charity, and you actually did some good.
Yeah, Beer Cartel actually deserve a lot of credit for that because that would have been a lot. I mean, it was fucking stressful for us, but it would have been a lot more stressful for them because they're in their factory putting these things together, and these cans were going off. They were putting these kits together. Some of them had gone out already. They knew they had thousands to go. Oh yeah, they were so nice about it the whole time. So that they deserve a lot of credit for that one too.
It sounds very counterintuitive. But your first reaction, if you find yourself in a recall situation, is to try and hide it and try and sweep it under the carpet. But it's better for your brand and your brand integrity and to create trust for your brand if you own your shit and just say, hey, you fucked up. This is the product. Do this with it. Give clear instructions. Follow the process. Go through for SANS. Let it hit the mainstream media and all that sort of stuff because I've never had really an Eagle Bay beer before, but my level of respect for Eagle Bay Brewing Company is massively elevated because they're doing the right thing by their consumers.
But not for their copywriters on their website because they're not strong with dates.
Yeah. They're picky.
All right. Last story before
we go. Well,
on that topic, you should definitely go there. If you go to WA, go to that brewery. It's fucking awesome.
Is it in Karen up or something, or is it?
Yeah, something up. Definitely something up.
Yeah, they're always called up.
Yeah, something up. I think it's we went there for lunch, and the view from there is just like next level. It's so cool. All right, last story before we get into the questions. BOC invests in CO2 facility because if you want to make beer, you need CO2, and if you don't have CO2, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah, or like if you're an American.
Yeah, the CO. I think they're
in dire straits at the moment because they can't get CO2.
Yeah, and there's been issues here. I don't know if there's been talk of running out. I don't think anyone has run out as far as I know, but this is the sort of shit you don't think of when you start a brewery. You don't think there's so many things that you could just run out of it and it would just completely shut down production. We had an issue with Visi Packaging where we couldn't get boxes. And we were like, well, if we can't get boxes, we can't run the business.
Yes.
Because you've got all these cans, you got nowhere to put them. You can't pack them. Everything stops. And CO2 powers everything. So you can't do anything.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Terrifying. So this is good.
This is really good. What are they doing? What do we got here? What are they doing? Oh, reusing CO2. Yeah, you can reuse it.
Produce 60. Yeah, it mentions in the article that some of the breweries are repurposing Young Henry's.
Yeah, Little Creatures in Geelong, probably one of the first in Australia to recover CO2 from fermentation. The CO2 produced from fermentation is not the major part of the emissions that a brewery produces, though. Mostly it's the energy. But you can calculate very easily how much CO2 fermentation produces. Would you like to know?
Sure.
One plateau of gravity shifts, that's about 4 specific gravity points of gravity shift, equals 0.5% ABV and 0.5 gram per litre of CO2.
Okay.
So what are your tanks? 160 hectolitres?
180, yeah.
180, right? So if you've got, what's East Coast Haze, what ABV is that?
4.5.
All right, so it's probably doing about 10 plateau of gravity shift. So 10 times 0.5 times 180, 18,000. So you're producing 90,000 grams, 90 kilos of CO2.
90 kilos per batch.
Per batch, yeah.
I don't really know. That seems like a fair bit.
90 kilos? Well, if you look at CO2 emissions, if you burnt 90 kilos of wood.
What about if you drive? What would it take to burn 90 kilos in a?
Well, about 80 odd litres of petrol.
Yeah, so it's basically like a one beer delivery run. You're burning the same as a whole batch of beer. Yeah.
Yeah. Energy is the in a brewery, but it's a good thing is you can, and not all of that CO2 actually gets released into the atmosphere. Like, a lot of it stays actually in the beer and forms part of the carbonation.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
So there you go. It's good.
So
it's shitty how CO2 is made, though. But
go on.
Well, it's made from burning gas.
Oh.
You burn LNG or natural gas, and the gas that they burn, they collect the CO2, but the gas they burn fires a steam generator, which makes electricity to run the refrigeration to compress the gas.
Doesn't sound nice.
Where else is it going to come from?
Beer tanks.
90 kilos worth.
Hey, here's an idea. Angus Grant, who this is not part of the 12 questions, but every week I do put a thread in our group, facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer, and I ask people what questions they have for our episode. And we do have some there, but I noticed this one on the live chat. Angus Grant, can you guys start providing a rating of episodes known as standard hendos? The rating system is effectiveness of hendo during the episode. Normal is 1 hendo. Field trip episode is 0.25 hendos.
How am I doing tonight?
Side pouring that beer.
How am I doing tonight?
pretty good. I think that's probably why the question came up.
What did he say I'm doing tonight?
That's a good question. I'll ask him.
Standard hendos.
But before I ask him,
well, why don't you put in the chat how many hendos you think I'm doing? How many standard hendos I'm doing tonight?
I reckon you're point 0.9. You're in fine form.
Oh, thanks.
But the more important thing is the actual questions, and we've got some good ones.
Before we do the questions, Danchin update.
Oh, Danchin update, yeah. Oh, wait, I've got a beer too. This is our new release coming out next month.
British India Pale Ale.
It was our crafted beer, which went really well. I wasn't there, I had my kids, but apparently it went really well and it was a great event.
Yeah, good.
Get it India. It's tasting good. Get India. See what I said then? Get India.
1.1 hendos with the pouring tip. Fucking go. You learn something new every day.
So you can go more than one? Well, I thought one was the maximum.
Well, apparently you can, according to Angus Grant, who invented the scale.
Normal is one hendo. Okay, so you can go higher than one. All right.
Oh,
that's fair.
And field trip was less than one? Wow.
Field trip was 0.25. That's being very generous.
I must have been off my form that night. You can't really remember.
You weren't providing a whole lot of value. Let's just say that. Danchin. So I'm moving out of this place in 5 weeks.
That's it?
And yeah, that's it. I'm out. And then...
Are you leaving the kids?
Well, I have them 50-50. So if I have to move out, I think they'll just stay at their mum's. She doesn't know this, but that's probably what's going to happen because I'll be homeless.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But
so the Danchin needs to be done.
It needs to be done, or else I'm going to have to move all my shit into God knows where and
storage shed.
Live in my van. Yeah. So I get a driveway tomorrow. I get carpet this week. I bought lights.
That's pretty good, mate.
I think we're getting pretty close. I bought those lights you have in your kitchen that come down from the roof.
Down lights?
Oh, like pendant lights.
Yeah.
You know, they hang down. Yeah, looking pretty good.
Good.
5 weeks.
Well, that's good. When's the housewarming?
I don't know. Well, I was thinking
to
sell it and not move in, but I think I'm going to move in.
The last party I went to at your place, I can't remember that either.
Which one did you go to?
The Christmas party.
At my current place?
No, well, it was on that block of land, yes.
Yeah, when I make the tank in the backyard and have the Nerf bullets and shit.
Yeah.
You don't remember that part of it, do you? I built a fucking tank in my backyard out of kegs.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I got home.
That was a good one. That was back in the old days. But
oh my God. Do it again.
That was good back then because my house was so small. I actually had a massive backyard, but now not so much. There's no.
You got a massive house and a small backyard.
Pretty much, no backyard. Yeah.
Can you walk to Bine Bar from your house?
Yeah. Close.
It's around the corner, isn't it? Yeah, that's all right. It's a short stagger.
Yeah, I can walk to lots of stuff. It's good. I was at Bine on Monday night, actually. It's good. $5 happy hour. $8 cheeseburgers. Winning.
Fuck, that's all right.
All right. 12 questions.
Yeah.
And you have to have question colon at the start, otherwise you don't get your question answered. So number one. Adam Shell, question colon.
Which one?
The other one.
Okay.
Will the labour shortage and struggle to find staff bring positive or negative impacts to the industry? As someone who's been in hospitality for 25 years, I'm wondering if industry leaders now get to enforce better service standards, or if we'll struggle with people coming into the industry with bad habits or who only need money, and we just end up taking what we can get to keep the doors open.
Both. It will be a positive and a negative. There will be some really good people who will earn more money. There will be some businesses that will have higher wage bills. There will be some people who get a better career progression. There'll be some not so great people who maybe just do it for the money, but it's bloody hard work. Even if you doubled a hospo person's wage, it's still hard work for that amount of money. That tends to keep the average people out. So yeah, both. Price of beer will go up.
Yeah, I noticed the the Justin Hemmers guy, the guy who owns fucking Maryvale, the pub group.
Oh yeah.
He is apparently appealing to the Prime Minister to let in skilled migrants and have a much easier way for them to come in the country and work for this exact reason, because it's impossible to find good staff.
I think he will very quickly find that the phenomenon is global at the moment.
Yeah. I think I don't know about you in terms of what you've actually seen, but like, I know, like for us, like we're very, very blessed with very good staff, but I've noticed a pretty fucking savage drop off in service across the board in hospo.
Yep.
And not hospo as in like local venues, just restaurants, not just Gold Coast, Brisbane, some of my favorite restaurants, some of my favorite breweries, Melbourne, everywhere I've been, I feel like there's been a pretty big drop off in service and quality of staff.
Yes.
So it's hard. Yeah, I don't know if I'm with you on it being a good thing at all. It seems like a real.
There are a lot of bad things, but there are some good things for some aspects of the business.
Yeah. All right.
Good question.
Louis G. Question. Actually, he tagged Adam Shell. I don't know. They're just having this conversation with each other.
Yeah.
I have a relative in Italy who's a brewer in a microbrewery, and I mentioned him in Oz. There's a huge shortage of staff in the sector. Who among the 12 was willing to give him a sponsorship visa? That's not a bad question. We've looked at that in the past. It's very fucking difficult and expensive.
You can't get it. Unfortunately, brewers are not on the list of occupations which are what I don't know what the list is called, but there's apparently a list of occupations where you can get fast-tracked in as a, work, get sponsored or work permit and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's things like nursing and shit like that.
Yeah, nursing, plumbers, chefs, all that sort of stuff. But brewers have never been on that.
No, because we wanted to keep Spencer back in the day, and we looked into it, and it was just going to be way too hard.
Yeah.
So, tough. All right. Scooter update. Louis G. Scooter update. Well, you put that in the group.
Yeah, I got the so the pink scooter is up and running, except for the headlight. I'm just waiting for the headlight bulb to arrive. Oh, it was so annoying. I went to the motorbike shop. It's got a really weird headlight bulb. You can't just go to Super Cheap and go, yeah, one of those things. It's like a really special one. So I took the old bulb to a motorbike shop last Saturday, and what he did was he gave me a bulb which fit the same socket, but it was a 6-volt bulb instead of a 12-volt bulb. So I turned the headlight on, and it went really, really bright and went pop and blew. Oh, and I'm like, fuck, it was $28 bulb.
I blew the bulb.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So I went back to the motorbike shop and I said, I need a 12-volt version, thanks. Didn't get my money back for the 6-volt one, but I've got to wait for it to get couried in, and then it's ready to go to roadworthy. Runs great. Just nice. I bloody put a new battery in it, adjusted the idle on it. The petrol's a bit old in it, so it's running a bit rough, but I'm pretty sure once we put a fresh tank of petrol in it, it'll be running pretty sweet. And that's pretty good. The blue one, I took all of the parts, the engine, I dropped the engine out of it, and I took the engine, all the dirty parts, to a car wash out in Jindalee or something like that, and just hosed it all and got all the shit off it, and brought it all back. And then, so the next step there is to pull the engine apart from the lead engine that I bought, pull the little Today engine, and see if the heads, the big bore kits, are interchangeable. And if they are, that's great. And see what happens. I think I'll have this going in about 6 weeks.
The pink one?
The pink one's done. I need it out of my garage. It's going to my sister. I'll just get a roadworthy on it, and it's sorted.
Okay. I was going to say you should bring it to the launch, but that's not going to happen. You could borrow it. I could write it there. But I won't be fucking writing it home. You should write it there. We could have it as a centerpiece, as a showcase.
I'll just pick it up the next day.
Yeah.
So it's going all right. Pretty happy with the progress there on the pink one.
Good job. All right, Luke White. Do you know if anyone who has invested in any New Zealand or Australian brewery crowdfund has yet to see any return.
No.
Over here in NZ, we've seen a lot of people lose their money after investing in the likes of Renaissance. Others who have invested money in breweries like Eagle are extremely unlikely to ever see a return. Seems like a very loaded, kind of exaggerated question, but do you want to attempt
Just
to answer
read the
that, or
question, man.
something?
You're supposed to be impartial when you're reading questions out.
Well, no, but it's a loaded question. It's like the last line. Others who have invested money in breweries like Eagle are extremely unlikely to ever see a return. I mean, what's the question?
Yeah, but facts are facts, man. Renaissance went under.
Yeah, but the comment is a lot of people lose their money after investing in the likes of Renaissance. Like, obviously, everyone who invested in Renaissance lost their money, but it wasn't a lot of people. It was a few people.
Right.
I guess the main part of the question,
what was the
there's
question?
a lot of commentary, and there was really only one question in here. One question is, do you know if anyone who has invested in any New Zealand or Australian brewery crowdfund has yet to see any return? That's the question.
I don't. Do you?
Well, I think there was one, wasn't there? Because who was saying that on our podcast, that there was one of the ones in New Zealand that had done the share trading. I was actually talking about this tonight with someone.
Eastie Boys?
No, I don't think. No, Parrot Dog maybe. Someone on the live chat might be able to help us out. It might have been Parrot Dog. So there's a couple of issues. One is, and putting all the statements there aside, obviously, if you invest in a company that is a startup, you're probably going to lose your money. So I think you got to think about, are you investing in an established business, or you're investing in a startup that's potentially high growth that could be worth a lot one day? And a lot of these early crowdfunds were startups, but now a lot of them are established businesses that are not making any money. So
yes,
I think if you're investing in startups, you should be expecting to lose your money because you're investing in high risk businesses. But if you succeed, you should be making a lot of money. If you're investing in an established business that has not made money ever, and you don't think is likely to ever make money, you're probably not going to see a return. But the concept of return is what? It's either you sell the shares and you're no longer an investor, or you get a dividend. So the Behemoth one's going to be interesting because they have said a year ago that they want to do a dividend in 2024. So let's see how that goes. Lots of early investors of breweries have made money when they've sold, but crowdfunding's only been existing in Australia for what, 2 years, and none of the
there hasn't been like a buyout of a crowdfunded brewery yet.
No, and to be honest, there probably won't be for a while. Like I don't think there's going to be too many buyouts of any breweries, and if there are, they're not going to be paying the amount of money that some of these breweries have raised at in the current market, because the current market is not a seller's market.
Oh well, there's more money in crowdfunding, isn't there?
So, so yeah, there's an answer to your question. And there's been no listings. Like I guess you know, but these things, if you're investing in a company that's just started, it's not realistic for them to be either paying a dividend or listing or selling in the first couple of years. So you wouldn't expect these companies to be giving a return. And I think the problem is not so much are they giving a return, is are they honest about the deal that they're offering people?
Yes.
Like and that's why I think like the likes of the Australian system and the way Birch will do it is actually pretty good. Like they specifically tell you, don't put out a rosy forecast that says you're going to be making all this money if you don't think because if you don't, you're going to look like an idiot and people are going to lose their money, and it doesn't make sense. But if you're honest with people and say, what we're aiming to do is this, and it might take 10 years to do it, get on board or don't get on board. And the people who don't want to be on board don't get on board. And we'll find out in 10 years' time which one of these breweries, you know, I suppose have sold or are paying dividends or whatever happens when you're an established business.
Yes. We'll see what happens. You never know your luck in the big city.
All right. Stephen Keegle, question. 2 colons.
Get out.
What do you think of that?
Fancy.
Considering that pack techs are a problem to reuse, recycle, what are the problems with cardboard wraparounds apart from going soggy in wet environments, or what are the other benefits of Pactex?
The wraparounds,
Pactex
like
aren't a problem to reuse. They're definitely more reusable than a cardboard wraparound.
it's just getting them back to where they need to be reused.
Right, but there are some percentage reusable. Cardboard wraparound is 0% reusable.
No,
but it's made out of cardboard and recyclable.
No, like a what do they call Westrock?
Yeah, you can't reuse them. You can you
no, you can recycle them though.
Yes.
The cardboard kind of Pactec looking things have been notoriously not great performers. I imagine.
Yeah, but he's talking about the Westrock one because it's got a screenshot in there, and he's talking about the wraparound, full wraparound.
Okay, so all right, you go buy a Westrock. That's what the machine's called. That machine, those Westrock machines are huge.
You don't buy them either. You lease them. You don't
lease
buy
them.
You lease them.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of got to pay for the commissioning and that sort of thing. But yeah, you don't own them, and then all of the parts in it are interchangeable, and you have to buy the cardboard from Westrock, and that's how they make their money.
Yeah, and I've heard I've never used one. Have you used one?
Yeah.
Are they clunky? I've heard they're pretty clunky. They obviously take up a fuckload of room, but they're pretty clunky, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, of course you fucking getting a machine to do origami.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be clunky, but when they go, great momentum.
Yeah.
Great momentum. Fast, just just go all day.
Yeah.
So I've not run a brewery that's had one, but I've worked in breweries that have had them. And
Kaiju had one.
Kaiju got one, yeah. You just got to make that. I think Kaiju made that decision to get a Westrock because they just didn't. They couldn't, from a social conscience perspective, do Pactex anymore.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they were enjoying it though when I was down there. It seemed like it was.
They were all crowded around it when I walked in there the other week as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And expensive too if you're going to lease the machine and.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they got potential.
What about this Clip-Acken thing? We talked about that on here a few months ago, and what's it
called?
Clip-Acken. Clip-Acken, is that what it's called? Let me find it.
The cardboard kind of Pactec thing.
Yeah, remember we talked about it a few months ago. The
Grifter are doing.
What's that?
The Grifter, the one the Grifter's doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea. If they work and they don't go soggy and.
Well, I've seen some ads for that. Where did I see it? Was it on The Shout or something? I saw them somewhere, ads for it. So they're obviously promoting that now as their own standalone business. So that'll be interesting because I think anyone who can work out how to do that in a sustainable way that, like Stephen says, doesn't go soggy.
Yep.
A lot of people are going to jump on it, especially for small batch. I'd definitely consider using it for, like, in our sites that don't have See, the difficulty is the automated packing line. You're not going to go from an automated packing line to a manual one. So anything small batch where you're manually putting Pactex on things, that'd be a good use case for swapping it out to something that's more sustainable.
Yes. Yeah. But Westrock, it's good.
They look good. They look good too.
They look great.
Good branding on there.
Good shelf presence and easy to work with once you got packed Westrock things. It's 4-packs, just fucking shove them around and it's not loose cans and it's good.
All right.
They do bottles as well.
Yeah.
The same machine will drop a 4-pack or a 6-pack over the top of bottles and do the little finger thing and do the origami finger thing.
Nice. All right, Stephen Kegel.
There's your fucking phrase of the week.
Do the fucking origami finger thing? Is that
origami finger thing?
You just went from a 1.1 hendo to a 0.9 hendo.
0.9. I don't care. It was worth it.
Stephen Kegel followed this up with a very strange comment. Sponsored ! Shout out to the Livy Knight at Earth Beer Company, who I not so randomly ran into today doing her brewery drop-offs in Milton. We had a quick chat and she handed me a mixed 4-pack. Awesome. Dan Hendo, make contact to for your sponsored pack. But this wasn't beer that was for us. It was just, he just got given beer and he called it sponsored beer. And I was just confused. Can you make any
Well,
sense?
he got sponsored.
He got sponsored.
I suppose if you get given beer for free, you are sponsored.
But how does it relate to us? It doesn't relate to us.
It doesn't at all.
I see.
He got sponsored beer.
He got sponsored.
If Earth's Brewing Company would love to sponsor us for beer, and I like Zeke is a fucking great brewer. Great. Let's have it.
Oh, 100%. That place is great. I was there the other week. I got no sponsorship out of it, but I didn't ask for sponsorship.
No, that's fine. You don't go around asking for sponsorship willy-nilly.
No.
That's just rude.
Okay, so he got sponsored. Nothing to do with us.
We didn't. He got sponsored. We didn't.
Do we congratulate him on his sponsorship? Or okay. All right. Okay. Luke Cooper. Question : membrane filtration versus flash pasteurization versus tunnel pasteurization, full stop. A question really should end in a question mark. But that's fine.
So what was the question?
It wasn't a question. It was a whole bunch of words together.
Okay, what was the statement? Membrane?
Question : membrane filtration versus flash pasteurization versus tunnel pasteurization.
Okay.
I think tunnel is the safest and best for the beer, but I've heard different. Still no question. Not even a full stop at the end of that statement. No questions there, but
I think he's asking to weigh up the pros and cons of each type
I understand what he's asking to, but the point of getting the punctuation right is you get the punctuation right. So I've got to point out when it's not right.
You can have the question mark, or you can have the question colon. Both in Boston the Brewer lexicon are okay. See what I did there?
But yes, no, that was good. But can you have a sentence after the question colon that doesn't have a full stop at the end of it? Because it's an unfinished sentence.
Oh, well, fucking Beethoven did an unfinished symphony, and no one sympathy.
That's a good beer name, Beethoven Sympathy.
Unfinished sympathy.
I have sympathy for anyone listening to this fucking podcast.
All right, let's answer his question. Okay, so what Coop's talking about is ways in which you can make product shelf stable, which means that there's no living microorganisms in it. And so the two of the technologies relate to pasteurization, which is heating the product to kill any microorganisms and cooling it back down again. And the third one is membrane filtration, which means you can actually filter out not only yeast, but bacteria as well. So yeast, so if you use a membrane filter, which is about 0.45 micron, so 0.45 of a thousandth of a millimeter, you will actually filter out bacteria, right? Which means that nothing gets through, that sort of thing. Now, the question is that which technology is better? But I would think they've all got their pros and their cons, both in terms of their cost of setup, cost of running, and whether they kill the quality, change or not do great things to the quality of the product. So with membrane filtration, it means that you don't have to heat the product. But unfortunately, membrane filtrations, the filtration is so tight that it actually starts to strip other flavors out of the beer, like hop compounds, hop oils, and all that sort of stuff will get stripped out by sterile filtration. Also can't do anything much other than sort of pale lagers and stuff, because the moment you actually have to pre-filter beer before it goes into a membrane, because you can't just go and smash hazy beer into a membrane because you'll clag it up, right? So it's just a polishing, finishing filter, right? So you have to go through a centrifuge, probably a finishing filter, lenticular, then you can go through the membrane. The membranes are very expensive, about $5,000 for a cartridge. You clag it, that's $5,000.
Damn.
You can't backflush them and recover them and all that sort of stuff with caustic, and they do last a fair while if you look after them. But if you fuck it up, it's expensive. You can't put red beers through it. I've tried to put a red beer through it because there's just things in red beers that just clag up. That was an expensive day. And you definitely can't do
Does that
things
keep
like
on
fruit.
trucking?
No. It was ages ago,
Oh.
back at Southern Bay. Beer, red beer. But it will actually, on that note, it will actually strip color out as well. So sterile filtration is good, probably for cider more so than beer.
Yeah.
A lot of protein in beer. So yeah, that's one thing.
Kaiju were doing something with their cider that involved
Velcorin.
injecting something into the
Velcorin, yeah.
Yeah.
So Velcorin they had a product recall because of exploding cans, that sort of thing. And so they use Velcorin. So Velcorin is a thing that just gets slug dosed into the product line after sterile. It still gets sterile filtered, but it goes in after the sterile filtration. Highly, highly toxic for a short amount of time.
Yeah, crazy.
Right. So if you can't drink tinnies off the canning line because it'll make you sick, but 6 hours later it turns to water and it's fine.
It's crazy.
It's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's good technology. Kaiju cider, fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of it, I think.
Golden Axe cider, sorry. So that's sterile filtration, Velcorin. So 2 types of pasteurization: flash pasteurization and tunnel. So flash pasteurization means you move it from the fermenter. You'll probably and you'll run it through a flash pasteurizer, heat it up, and cool it down in a matter of about 20 seconds or so. That does the job. Goes into a bright tank and then goes in from bright tank goes into package. That's probably the best for the beer because the damage on flavor impact from heating and cooling is the least with flash pasteurization.
So Stone and Wood do that, don't they? With pack ale.
Stone and Wood flash pasteurize everything. Yeah, so do lots of breweries, Brick Lane, all that sort of stuff. Flash pasteurize.
Gage actually had both. I can't remember which one they were using, but they had both.
Actually, Brick Lane's got both. They flash pasteurize their kegs and tunnel pasteurize cans and bottles. And so flash pasteurization is good. However, you need to make sure that everything after the flash pasteurizer doesn't have any microorganisms in it. So probably not appropriate for non-alcoholic beers.
Right.
That's probably why Coop's asking the question.
Right.
Tunnel pasteurization is the safest.
Okay.
Right. It does a bit of damage to the product, but it is the safest because you actually pasteurize in the package that goes to the consumer.
So what's in the tunnel?
Hot water and cold water. So basically
you're putting the actual can through.
Yeah. Basically there's like a big conveyor belt that sort of goes like that and it walks the cans down a big tunnel.
Yeah.
And there's like usually about 5 zones in it. So there's a hot zone, or maybe 2 hot zones and 3 cooling zones. Yeah. And so it just showers hot water down, enough hot water to heat the contents of the can up, pasteurize it, and then gets progressively cooled down, comes back out the other end at room temperature. Yeah.
I think Gage was saying one of them, I wish I remember which was which, but based on your description, I'm assuming the flash pasteurizer is the one, but they were saying one of them resulted in much better tasting beer and the other one kind of killed the taste of the beer.
It's flash.
Yeah.
Especially hoppy beers, you know?
Yeah.
Pasteurization is a tool, right? I'm not anti-pasteurization, neither should any beer fan out there and that sort of thing. It's just a tool. But like any tool, it just needs to be operated well. Have you ever had an Epic IPA? From day one, they've all been pasteurized.
All the fixation beers.
All the fixation beers.
Fixation beers are fucking delicious.
Pasteurized. Maybe not the ones coming out of Two Birds now.
No, but
when they come out of
historically, it's been brewed at Merbar, and it's always been delicious.
So yeah,
one of the best double IPAs in the game.
Yeah. So there's so for Coop, and he's asking about non-alc beers.
Tunnel,
mate. The tunnel, no question.
Yeah.
Don't even consider anything else because you're doing non-alc.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was pasteurization advice. Because Adam
can't tunnel pasteurize a keg, by the way.
You can't?
They're too big. No, they're too big to go through the tunnel.
So that's why you need both, because for any keg beer, it needs to be flash
for a keg, you'd have to have a flash pasteurizer. But then it's flashed and straight into the keg. That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nick Bonner. This is a really hurtful question, and he's put question semicolon, which I'm not, and then he's put a capital for how. These motherfuckers are just doing this to piss me off, aren't they? They're shit posting. Because I know this dude. He's smart. He knows how to punctuate things. Question semicolon capital H. How many more times will we need to listen to Hendo explain to Dan how to allow him to Zoom screen share? That's a fair point. The other thing I thought is the whole screen switching thing we've forgotten about that too, haven't we?
Mine's switching fine.
Mine's not.
Is yours switching?
Shit. No.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh, so basically all these people are watching the live stream and they can only see you.
No idea. What can they see? I don't know. What can you guys see?
Yeah,
probably.
If you guys can see both Dan and I, let us know.
I'm watching it now. I don't know. It's switching on the live. That's okay. It's switching on the live. Confirmed.
Thank fuck for that.
Right. Well, I wonder what the video does. I haven't even checked the YouTubes, but it doesn't.
Well, Stephen Kegel says we can see both.
Brilliant. All right, Nick, work on your punctuation. Matthew Bennett's now, you know what? This hadn't crossed my mind, but 2 full stops is actually a colon that's been rotated by 90 degrees.
It fell over.
Yeah, and then he's got the capital. Whatever.
Gravity.
It's not important.
It's gravity.
That's actually I don't mind that, but the capital and the double question marks at the end. Whatever. Matthew Bennett's with way too many N's and too many T's in his name. He's got so many unnecessary letters in his name. He's got 2 T's in Matthew, which is unnecessary, 2 N's in Bennett's, 2 T's in Bennett's. He's got 3 lots of unnecessary letters in his name.
Triple double.
He is triple double. Okay. Question ... fallen over. With the recent GDA acquisition of Stomping Ground, which business do you think will benefit more from the deal and why? Double question mark. What do you think? Who's it a better deal for?
That's a good question.
I can answer that one.
Go on then.
I reckon Good Drinks. I reckon it's a fucking great deal for them.
Yeah, they got it for a good price and they pick up some great talent.
100%.
Great
brand, great venues, great talent, and they got it for a great price.
Yes. Yeah. Good things will happen to Stompo for it as well.
Yeah.
But GDA got a good deal.
I think so. And they're one of because Stomping Ground's it's a super relevant brand, I think, because of the people and because of everything they've done, the venues and everything else. A lot of the other acquisitions, like the Mighty Craft ones, every time they acquired a different business, I was like, it seems like a weird business to acquire. Like Stomping Ground is not a weird business to acquire. That's a fucking good business to acquire.
Well, the difference, you know what GDA are trying to do. I don't even need to read their reports to know what they're trying to do. But I got to read the bloody, the Mighty Craft annual fucking report and strategic review to work out what the hell they're doing next.
Right. You mean as in just they want a local presence there and that's a sensible acquisition. Is that what you mean?
No, just, yeah. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What they're trying to do?
Well, I know what Good Drinks are trying to do. They have a very clear strategic vision for the business.
Yeah.
And whether you're a shareholder or not, you kind of know exactly what it is, right? And Mighty Craft need to do a strategic review.
Yeah, that's interesting. About a year ago,
they change their strategy all the time.
About a year ago, they were valued at about the same from memory. Like Mighty Craft and Good Drinks were about the same in terms of their market cap.
That's it. Do your fucking strategic review, sort your shit out, move on.
Wow, you're real savage here. You get up me for being savage at Eagle Bay and about the punctuation, and then you're pretty savage about Mighty Craft.
Yeah.
It's fine. All right. That's it. What? That's it. We're going to keep a tally of who's right about these 10.
Right at you.
Over and under.
Spreadsheet or something.
I'll put in my spreadsheet or put it in the live, put in the group.
Will you get the thing from Behemoth when the thing goes live?
Yeah, I'll put my email in there. I'll get it and we'll talk about it on the show. I'll send it to you.
Okay. You're still on holidays.
I'm back next week.
What have you done? You haven't taken a holiday.
Yeah, I've done some shit.
What have you done?
Some stuff for the house. I went to Melbourne. once. I'm going to Byron this weekend. Went to the sunny coast, hung out with the kids because I have the kids week on, week off. So the kids are the weeks I have the kids, I just hang out with the kids pretty much.
Yeah, you cook with them. All your Instagram stories, you cooking.
I'm trying to train those little
Actually,
motherfuckers
they
to
cook.
Yeah, they cook for me now. That's my goal.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good. What was I going to say? Over under. Don't know. But cheers, mate.
Ooh.
Love your work.
Cheers to Parched. That was excellent.
Oh yes,
Good. That tiramisu was bloody brilliant. Go drink it Parched.
Oh, the other thing is Helios. Those beers that I've got sitting in the fridge, they're 9%. So did you get those?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Anyone sending us sponsored beers, I'm eternally grateful for free beer because it's amazing and it's wonderful. But I don't want to drink a 9% beer. I'm sorry. I can't.
3.2 standos.
It's too many fucking standos.
Mm.
The amount of standos is going to affect the amount of hendos. So you become in at 1.1 hendos, and with 3.2 standos, you end up at 0.25 hendo.
Hendo, so shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So just keep that in mind with the sponsored bevies.
Yeah. Watch your hendos.
I've still got Lee from White Lies, his fucking maple stout in the fridge. It's like 10%.
Oh, I've got that too.
Yeah. I can't drink it 10%.
And that's at a 500 ml can. That's like 4 standos.
Maybe I'll bring it. I'll actually bring it to the Grod launch. We can share it.
Good idea.
Okay. All right. Good luck with the scooter.
Catch you next
See you
week.
next week, mate.
Bye.